Hello, hello, bienvenidos. Welcome. Otro episodio de Hoy en Día TV 3.0. Another episode of Hoy en Día TV 3.0. Thank you all for tuning in. Gracias por su apoyo, por estar aquí con nosotros esta noche. Este lindo día. Dios los bendiga a todos. God bless you all. So today's topic is going to be about entrepreneurship, right? Having a business, because there's a lot of people that have that ambition. They just need that extra push and drive. And so I have a special guest along with my co-host, Tim, who we're going to talk about entrepreneurship. But first, I want to give a shout out to the sponsors. We have Collective Wear, Divine Beauty and Accessories, Talkman Talk Radio, and go on my website, yessierodriguez.com/shop. You're going to see an array of different things, diferentes cosas que puedes comprar, mirar, etc. So I'm going to bring on stage my co-host, Tim.
Well, hello.
Tim, welcome.
How are you? How you doing?
Good. How are you? I'm great.
I'm doing quite well. Thank you so much for asking. Love that smile. Always love jumping in here and getting started with the show. So, yeah, glad to be here.
Absolutely. Well, it's always a pleasure to have you on here because doing this is not easy. People think it's easy, but it's not easy.
It is challenging, but you know when that purpose, right, is so
Mhm.
strong, it helps overcome any kind of obstacles. And yeah, I'm going to talk about that a little bit during the show about because that's very important when we talk about entrepreneurship. It it, it it has to be tied or attached to a purpose.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you mentioned that because that is exactly today's topic. And I did remind the audience that in the beginning, today's topic is about entrepreneurship. Starting a business, it can be exciting, it can be rewarding, but you have to give it dedication, dedicarte el tiempo para tu negocio. Because there's so many aspects to the business world. And so myself, Tim, and our special guest that we have, he's about to join us, Yussef Morales, all the way from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He is joining us
Yeah.
live. I'm really excited. Saludos a Yussef Morales. And here we go. We're going to bring him on.
Hey guys, how you
Yussef,
doing?
What's going on, brother? How you
Mr.
doing?
Tim, nice to meet you, Mr. Tim. How you doing, sir?
Doing quite well in yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. Jesse, thank you for inviting me. Let me get this straight here. I'm in my home office here. You'll probably hear the baby in the background doing his thing, just in case.
Oh, it's okay. We love babies.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, see,
no,
but
we
this is
got
good.
yeah, but thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you, Mr. Tim.
Yeah, same here, man. My pleasure.
Well, thank you for joining us. So today's topic, as we know, entrepreneurship. And I do know that you have several businesses, especially you have the festival that you do every year.
Yeah.
You help with the children. So there's just many things. I'm going to let you give yourself justice because there's just so much you have going on. And so today's point is to really help encourage people and help them understand it's great and rewarding to have a business, but it takes time, energy, resources, dedication and drive. Necesita dedicación, esa ambición para seguir por delante porque no es fácil. Es bien difícil tener un negocio. And a lot of people just don't understand that. And so we want to make sure that before they dive into that world of being a business owner, they know what they're getting into.
And I tell a lot of people, listen, there's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with having 9 to 5 because it's, I'm a person that I didn't ever started with no loans. I didn't learn about credit until I was older in my 30s. So a lot of those hacks that a lot of people can do in the beginning. So when it comes to starting from the bottom and really feeling the pains, the festival is just one of the things that I do. I've had numerous businesses from box truck company. I'm one of those entrepreneurs that likes to follow the trends and sell the business or move on to the next business. The festival is like he said, Mr. Tim said when he introduced, that's my passion. That's like something that I love. Everything I've done, I've loved though. Like everything is a connection with God somehow here, Youssef, learn this for this second and let's move you to this so you can learn. So I've kind of picked up a lot of things. The festival, thank God, you're going 11 years. It is, and since it is about business today, it is an LLC, so it's not a nonprofit. I've done several things. I'll talk about the recent things just so you guys kind of. I had a box truck company that we started. Yeah, we started a box truck company last year. Well, I started with Bald Head Mafia as a brand that I started, right? This will all connect, but I started Bald Head Mafia. It's still, you can go to baldheadmafia.com or the Instagram. I shaved my head and I still wasn't like comfortable. So people kept making fun of me. So my brothers and I, we're all bald, like all of us. So then joking around, I'm into like, mobster movies. And I started saying, well, this bald head mafia guys. And I used to see all these guys and I'd be like, didn't even know them. And I'd just be like, bald head mafia. Hey, sir, how you doing? And people would just react. I finally made a t-shirt out of it. Long story short, I ended up getting a guy that believed in me that was online, helped me out, bought a big piece of it. I ended up getting a warehouse. We did an aftershave for bald head. This all turned from just a joke. We ended up selling a lot of t-shirts, got on Amazon, sold a lot of products, opened up a warehouse. That business was then moved and kind of bought out. I still have a percentage, but that helped me get the box truck going. In the box truck business, that's the way we ended up going from 0 box trucks to having 3 box trucks at a time. Our first year we did over 300,000. Second year, and this is me just learning on YouTube. I'm telling you this stuff just so you kind of, for your audience, this is all me learning stuff on YouTube. Like Mr. Tim said, sacrifice. I hadn't slept. I still haven't slept. But that box truck business was able to lead me to another business, and now our festival is something where I'm focusing on because ticket sales are going to generate, and just a lot of things with the festival. It's my passion. We're opening up the Puerto Rican Center soon, but that's just a little bit. I could keep going. I'll let you guys we go on with the conversation, but just so I understand the struggle from starting from $0 to not paying yourself for 10 years to saying, okay, I knew that from the beginning. It was going to take me 8 to 10 years, but I'm here now. Now let's make up. But you gotta like tell yourself that every year.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's exciting because anything regarding Puerto Rico, I'm excited. So I'm excited to see what you do with the Puerto Rican Center. And one of these days, I'm going to make it out to the Puerto Rican Festival. Actually coming up in August, right?
People this year, 9,000 to 10,000 people we should be doing this year. And it was festival.
Wow.
Yeah, we started under a bridge. I was in a bad job and I was just praying. And then I had this idea from things I did in my younger days. And we started under a bridge with no money. Me and my woman, my wife, and my son. He was younger then, but we started under a bridge. No money for porta potties, no money for security guards. Barely could pay the DJ, and now we've grown to a major festival. About to do 10,000 people this year. Now, actually, I opened up the Milwaukee official pamphlet to the city, and we were on 8th page. Now we're actually like an official city event to Milwaukee, so it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That is amazing. Wow. Saludos, Yussef. You're doing great things out there in Milwaukee. For those who are going to be around in August, Yussef, reminding people, when is it? August 16th?
Yeah, August 18th. Yeah. And if you're 18th. Not like I tell people, if you're not from here, plan the trip, come out here. Milwaukee's a great city. I love it. So
yeah. You said a lot of key things, Yussef. And one of the things that you said is, and I heard, is the dedication and the commitment, right? I will add to that. One of the things, I've had several businesses and I thought I failed, but when I went back and I looked at it, right, failure kind of gets a bum rap. There's a lot of valuable information when something doesn't work, if we go and take a look at it.
Yeah.
To stay trapped into a one lane, I call it conformity. And conformity leaves no room for creativity. So you left yourself open so that you could visualize other businesses and helping more people. Your focus really had nothing to do with you.
Listen,
Everything I heard you say was about other people.
If I turn the camera, even like things like, like this is one of my old businesses we started. It was during the CBD brand. And I came up with, it was called anxiety stick because people had anxiety and it was full CBD. This was one, didn't work out too well, but I did ended up making about like $20,000 out of it. And I got to travel everywhere, going to a lot of shows. I can keep going. If I flip this around, it's like a warehouse of ideas. The ballhead mafia stuff that we did. This is one of our posters we were sending out to our clients. And we put out a map and we shipped to Germany, Russia, like anywhere you could think of. We were shipping a lot of stuff out. And again, and that's Ballhead Mafia is still mine, but that's one that, like I tell a lot of people, it's an idea, but you don't have to use it right now. It's in the burner. The Instagram is still there. I'm not putting energy, but I got some things I'm working on. It's going to make us a little bit more money, and then I'll come back to it. And I've done a million businesses, man, but I've learned from every single one. There's key ones that I've been able to make money to take care of my family and reinvest and do good. But it's been a lot of them that hasn't, you know.
I got a question for you because I went through this. Did you ever experience a point because I I started this national key recovery business, and I won't get into all the details, but I had this vision because I drove to the airport, and when I landed at my destination, I couldn't find my car keys. But I
Yeah,
knew that I had my keys because I drove my vehicle to the airport. And I came up with this key tag. Like I said, if somebody found my keys and actually wanted to return them to me, they would have no way to do so. Now, this is back in 2008, right?
yeah,
And so I came up with this national key recovery service, and I did all of the paperwork and
Mm.
all the bells and whistles. And I wanted to get this thing into the post office because just to tell you the magnitude of it, we wanted the post office to sell these two key tags for $9.99, right? For
okay.
two key identification tags.
Amazing idea in 2008 too. That's
Yeah.
genius.
And so,
Mhm.
there's like 40,000 post offices across the United States. If each of them sold two, they were doing 50-50 deals.
Yeah,
You see the kind of revenue we were looking at.
amazing. Yep.
And
Mhm.
and they shot it down. DC is very political, right? And so anyway, my point is it hurt me so bad
Yeah,
when I had to close the doors on it. It was a Saturday. I couldn't take it no more. I couldn't move it forward.
yeah,
And I had to shut it down. The website, I had spent 10 grand on the website. This is before, what we see
yeah.
now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
everything was hard coded. There was no
HTML,
plugins.
everything was coding. There was no
And
Wix.
yeah. And so that Saturday morning when I shut it down, it was nice outside. And Yessie, I went, it was Saturday morning, and I balled up in the bed in a knot. I was in that much pain.
I'm
And
not laughing
Mm.
at you. I'm laughing with you because I had it happen many times.
and I, I,
Wow.
I had invested 40 grand, right? And I couldn't take it no further. And I said to myself, I'll never do it again. I've had four other businesses.
Yeah, man. It's that's part of the game, man. I've
Mhm.
had a few similar. I've had it happen to me maybe 9, 10 times, man.
Yeah,
I made my first 17K I made with my box truck. I went down to Florida. We sent them some money. I went down to Florida with a big amount of money to finish the cash and drive it back with one of my drivers. Cash. This is the hard-earned money. I haven't slept for 3 months. I'm working my day shift the whole time. Keep it in
yeah,
mind. I'm working day shift the whole time. Go down there, pay cash. I didn't notice that these yellow tags say that there's no limit laws in Florida. So you buy something and you get it as it is. There's no 30 days, none of that stuff. Long story short, the truck broke down, didn't work. Called the owner. The owner told me I could. I don't want to. It's some very. He told me I could do some very nasty stuff to him. That was his answer to me, and that it wasn't his problem.
wow,
I stayed there with 2 grand. I was in the middle of Atlanta in some not very friendly place, middle of Atlanta with one of my guys, a brown dude, and so it was even rougher because it was in the wrong parts. $2,000. We wasted all of our money. We had $500. We wasted trying to get mechanics. Long story short, we couldn't fix it. On top of not getting our truck, they told us that we self-repoed it by leaving it there. So they kept the truck, they kept my money all in one day, and it was over 17K that we
wow.
lost. Yeah,
Wow.
listen, I had this idea because I had this idea before they were doing vinyl wraps in the window cars, vinyl wraps. It was called local wraps. I heard about vinyl wraps. I went down to
Mhm.
Florida. I went to local wraps. It was a location. I slept in the garage in their basement, learning how to wrap cars within 4 days. I came back, started wrapping cars. And I came up with this idea that I seen in Vegas, and there was this was before Uber, taxi cabs, United taxi cabs was the only thing there was. So I seen
Mhm.
in Vegas. So I went to the taxi cab place. Long story short, I said, I want to rent they had 115 cabs, all 115 back of your windows, sir. I'm going to give you $50 a month for them. If not, he said, no, I'll do it for 100. I said, I'll pay you 100 for every back window. I went to go sell the ads for $300 a month, which was easy. So all I had to do was go to the city, get it approved. I went like you did. You had a big account. I went to Summerfest, which is the biggest thing here, and I sold them 100 cabs the first day. He said, we'll take them all because Summerfest is coming.
Wow.
I said,
That's
oh my God,
amazing.
this is it. This is it. So I go get the city approved. First approval. I just need the county to approve it. I'm like, we're on. This is going to change my life. All right, here we go. The guy, everybody's approved it. The alderman is behind me all the way. We go to county, they deny everything.
Yeah.
I go to fight it. They tell me because the city. I said the city bus have them on their windows. They said that's a city. They own them. You can get a lawyer and fight this, but I had ran out of money by then.
Yeah. Same thing happened to me. You know, the city of St. Louis. I was in St. Louis. Man, they put me in the post office. Put me in their newsletter, and they communicated because we dropped 50 set of keys just to see how we would get how many keys we would get back, and they thought it was a great thing. They communicated it throughout the post office in Missouri, but when it got to DC, didn't have the right connections there.
Listen, brother, that's why I said I'm only laughing because that's all you can do. Listen, at one time I came up with an idea. I bought a T-shirt at Burlington Coat Factory with a donut, and I went to the gym for him. People were like, "Why you got a T-shirt with a donut?" I just thought it was cool and it was cheap at Burlington Coat Factory. It was cool. I bought the donut. I said, "I'm doing a donut festival," because I had already been known for festivals. Yeah, so I'm doing. They were like, "Oh my god, that's amazing." I said it for like a week, and then I told my girl, I said, "I think we could do this." So I put out a Facebook page without even looking for a venue, and I put out that I was having this event, and we got over 1,000 followers.
Wow!
I went to a hotel and I said, "Hey man, look I got this here. Can I do it here and don't charge me anything?" And they'll buy drinks or whatever. Long story short, man, we got 30 donut vendors to come and give out donuts for free because they had the people paid $15 to get in, and they would grab samples from everyone. Yeah. And the vendors, what they would get is promotion out of it. People would get to know their business.
Right.
We packed out. Listen, we sold many tickets. Enough that Eventbrite was telling me a $10,000 ticket. But I made this simple mistake, right? Oh, and I almost got sued by a lot of people because I didn't know that another 1,000 people were going to show up for 100 tickets. I put 100 tickets left. 1,000 people showed up, and they were mad. I'm like,
wow.
Yeah, listen, they were calling the news, lawyers. My wife, I'm telling you, she can tell you all this stuff, but this is real stuff. So then, it was insane. It was like people. I'm gonna tell you this: people love donuts. They love donuts. People showed up in donut outfits. Listen, there were couples in donut outfits. I said, "What the fuck?" Excuse me. I said, "What the heck is going on here?" But we sold out. But listen, so then I did a lot of stuff through Eventbrite, and I didn't know that they had an option to pay a certain amount of ticket or percentage. I was new at the time, so I hit percentage. I gave them people $6,000 of a fee.
Wow.
When I could have paid directly about like $300, and they kept $6,000 on my payment. I mean, I kept a nice amount, but it was
knowledge. That's the first thing.
It was a $6,000 lesson that it will never happen again. But and I tell people about it now so they can kind of.
And you know that's what I was going to say. I know how to be successful in anything I'd want to do today. I know how to do it. You know how?
Mistakes.
No, find somebody that's already successful and do what they do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well,
that's a good point.
I figured that out after years. Now, now I know that. Now I listen. Now I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Or I go online and I look for somebody that knows how to do it already.
That's exactly right.
That is so funny.
I tell myself, there's no new wheel.
Yeah, so that's right. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So
that's the message. There's no. I mean, it's 2024. You could not reinvent a new wheel. It's just
true.
You just can't. All you got to do is try to be yourself and help the way that works. But there's no new wheels. The industries are built already. There's no new industry. There's no many new inventions you can come up with right now.
It's just like this show. This show is an authentic show, and it's designed to reach a diverse market, right?
Yeah.
And to share like what you're sharing right now. It's hard to find this in a book.
Yeah.
You know, the audience that's listening now, they're picking up nuggets. And it can help people avoid a lot of the pitfalls that
I never got that, man.
Exactly.
Listen, when I got into trucking, right, I don't have a college degree, and I'm a director out of there's a lot of stuff I do because of the hard work. So I preach hard work a lot. But what was my point I was about to make?
It's okay. It'll come back to you, Yussef. It's okay.
Yeah, I was gonna make a point with that out.
Well, when you think about it, just let us know though, because
it was important here. What
you were making some good points.
Yeah,
you're making some good points. Your passion.
Yeah, the passion for those. I was gonna come back to me because it was important. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so when I started the trucking company, nobody I would join Facebook groups for truckers and box truckers, and I'm like, hey man, I'm new, I'm looking for some help. I got stuck in many places. We started going on the road, so my guys would break down in Ohio, Minnesota, all over the
Mhm.
Midwest, and I would get on there, and a couple guys would actually that didn't even know me would answer at 4 in the morning and say, hey, I'm a trucker. This is what you got to do. Tell your guy to do this. So there was a lot of that, but it was very, very small. Even me coming at them humble, like, hey, OG or I'm a young dude trying to get in, whatever I got to do. Nobody. So when I started trucking, I started learning. Like, for example, I didn't know that I didn't want to pay a factoring company because I didn't want to pay the 5%. So, but what happened was I didn't know that there was 30 net. I didn't know what 30 net was at the time. So then I'm like, all right. So I'm thinking checks are going to start coming in. I'm like $40,000 in the hole in payroll, 22,000 in gas bill, and my checks ain't coming in. And I'm calling companies. They said it's net 30. You don't have a factoring company. I'm like, oh my God. Everything got paid. I ended up getting a factoring company, and that started paying us right away the same day. They took 3%. But that's why I jumped on TikTok. My TikTok, I don't even use it much, but we ended up getting 10,000 views on all these videos because nobody was giving this information. But I was like, man, I got to get this information out. I'm like, it'll come back to me
Right.
in some good way, but it's hard to. So it's important what you guys are doing. Just even basic guys like me from that just doing
Man, you're doing
that
amazing work.
stuff.
A great work in the earth is what I call it. And
Appreciate it.
the biggest thing is, yeah, you know what, Yusef, you know how to make money. You can make money, but when you use your gift and your talent to help other people, to guide other people, money can't buy that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Money
That's
can't buy.
true.
If I ask you right now, if you had to put a dollar amount on what your lessons, hard won lessons have cost you, how much you pay, could you even come up with a number?
No, man, I
No,
really could not. Yeah, I
no.
could not.
Yeah.
And so Yusuf made some really great points regarding the passion. The passion is what keeps him going, keeps him motivated, keeps him driving, right? And that factor of being an entrepreneur. But there's a question that I was going to ask both of you. At what point did you realize, with the examples that you shared with your failed, or what you consider a failed entrepreneurship business, at what point did you realize enough was enough and you needed to move forward? Or or do you feel like if you would have kept going a little bit longer with that, even if you failed the first or second or third time, that it would have been successful?
100%. But I would have to get the knowledge. I would have to know. I would have to stick through that part that I probably didn't stick through.
Okay.
And it ended up I ended up winning because I got lessons out of it. But
Uh-huh.
it's just like if you, especially with certain industries, it's not like trying to be a YouTuber or one of those are hard. But when it comes to like something that's proven it works, like let's say real estate, trucking, even what
Mhm.
he was, everything. But you got to fight and you got to be able to have that money to back it up, and you got to be able to go like because you got to be able to stick through the dip. If you can
Mhm.
fight the dip up, but the thing is, how many dips can you go through?
And
Sometimes,
yeah.
yes, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I'm not a religious guy, but I'm a praying guy. And sometimes guys like, hey
Mhm.
man, now we got to jump over here. This you'll come back to this later, or move this on, or that idea can give it to somebody else that's going to advance to them, and you took yours out of that juice, and now they're going to grab and whatever they. So that's why I don't hold nothing. I don't get. But and you can't force anything either. You got to flow, like they say, with the water and just go with things.
Mhm.
And also, it's a lot of things. Pay attention to the market. Pay attention to trends. What's going on? People are controlled by the media. People control by social media. People want whatever. What is it? The cup the other day with the Starbucks, it came out. People are going crazy. They started every week is something. But if I could keep, it just depends how you see it. If
Well,
but
you,
if
you,
but just one last thing. But if it's like trying to blow up, like I say, YouTube and all that, which I believe a gamer, you got to go be ready for 10-year runs and all that. But with the other
Mhm.
businesses, that's on you decide. It's
That's
so
good. That's
so
good feedback.
so here's something I would share with you, Yessie and
Uh-huh.
Yusef, is that I learned because I had to go and get some business coaches. And here's one of the most valuable lessons that I learned about business: never go into a business without an exit plan.
yeah.
Mm.
Have you ever heard of these CEO guys? They get fired and then they get this big lump sum of
Mhm.
money. You know why? Because they negotiated that up front.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, so that would be my suggestion for anybody is never go into a business, adventure without having already an exit strategy in place.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
the way I would put it is, don't leave your day job to run your business. Keep your day job while you're running your business. I'm pretty sure Mr. Tim means the same thing. Just don't leave your day. There's no way. Just don't sleep. Don't sleep as much. Don't sleep 8 hours.
Right. And we do that. Like I still work a full-time job as well. And what I mean also, Yussef, is okay, if you say you have $20,000 to invest in this business.
Yeah.
When you hit that 20,000, or you give yourself 5 years, when you hit that 20,000 mark or 5 years and you're not seeing the results that you had anticipated, then you need to have an exit strategy, right? That way you don't go so low, because let me tell you something. A lot of people start businesses and they lose so much of themselves or their finance. Yussef, everybody doesn't bounce back like you, brother.
Yeah. No, trust me.
They can get trapped off into, because my background
Mr.
is.
Mr. Tim, you're the guy I'm gonna start calling for advice. I'm not the guy. I'm 100%. I'm not the guy you call for advice, man. I'm the guy that you call and say, hey, man, I said, man, get your ass up. Did you cry yet? You cried already? All right, cool. Did you shower yet? All right, listen, go take a shower and like finish the tears, let them all out. Go put a nice outfit on and keep going, because shit ain't stopping.
Right.
So, but that's why my answer is that way. But trust me, your answer is probably what 90% people should hear, because I think 70% shouldn't be entrepreneurs. But you got to get ready for them ass whoopings, man, if you want to be in it.
Here's the other thing that I coach as well, and here's what I discovered. It took me 35 years to get to learn this, is that everything that God created comes to this planet with a gift trapped inside of it. Everything. A bird comes in with a gift of flight already in it. Nobody puts flight in a bird. A fish comes in with a gift of swim already in it. A mango seed comes in with a gift of a tree. Every mango seed has a tree trapped inside of it, but it has to be in the right environment. You can take that mango seed and sit it on your kitchen counter, and it'll sit there for 30 years, and the tree will remain trapped in the seed. It won't come out. Take that same seed, drop it in some soil, give it some moisture and sunlight. Boom! Here comes the tree that was trapped inside the seed. Our society does us a bit of a disservice and says you can do anything you want to do. Well, you can, but you could fail at it too.
Yep.
Right. That's true.
We have to discover what our gift is. Because see, when we discover that gift, it'll give us a sense of significance. It's our source of value. Then that will lead us to our purpose. Our purpose is why we were created. You've seen it very vividly. Michael Jordan was created to play basketball. Tiger Woods was created to shoot golf, right?
Yeah.
Tom Brady was created to quarterback, right? You see that, right?
Yeah.
So when you discover that purpose, it will then generate a vision.
Right.
Vision is our purpose in pictures, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I see it. Now, when I see that vision, I get excited. That's called passion.
Yeah.
That passion influences other people. And then you have leadership. So that's how
100%.
that thing works.
Yeah, 100%.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
That's great.
Everybody, that's why a team is a team, man. Everybody's got a part.
There you go. Bingo.
And,
ding, ding,
and
ding.
one thing you can do, a lot of people think you can do a solo thing with a business. You can only go so far. You won't get to level 100, the top. You can get to like 72, level 72, running real fast and no sleep. But there's only eventually everybody needs to have one person or at least two. You got to have a team, man. When you're building something like with a real platform, with like a real, just that's something that's going to be stable and it's going to last for a while. There's no way. That's why. Why do you think? Like I tell my buddy, I said, man, look at it. All these buildings, all these malls, all this stuff is owned by a group of people. I got 20, you got 20, I got 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. We'll take 100 to the bank. 100. That bank is going to give us another 100 for that. Now we got 200,000. Let's go buy a building and we'll split it into 10 businesses in it. If you go to,
It's not rocket science.
it's not, man. If you go downtown, most buildings are owned by a group of people. It's most huge buildings. It's a group of people. It's not one person that owns it. That's just, unless it's like a mom and pop business that was grown from 1932 and that's been going on and he's got all these contracts. But besides that, you gotta get a team, man. You gotta get that.
You know,
Right.
when I talked about find somebody who is successful and do what they do, I learned that from Michael Jordan's book. He came into the league, he was scoring, he was winning scoring titles. He was putting up a whole lot of points, but he wasn't winning championships.
Yep.
And he looked at Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson, when that was out in LA doing the no look pass, and he was getting everybody involved.
Yeah.
So Michael came back and he started implementing his, getting everybody involved. His point production went down, but he started getting rings.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true.
Both of you made a good point, though. So that leads me into the next segue of the entrepreneurship ships to sail. Because, Yussef, you brought up a good point about bringing other people into the team. But we do understand that not everybody has a loving personality, So with that, how do you, from a day-to-day, deal with different personalities to make sure that everybody stays focused, we're on task? And let's say if maybe person A and person B are not quite rubbing or meshing together, how do you diffuse that? Because that's important for a successful business, is to have everybody on the same accord. So what feedback, qué palabras de recomendación tú le das a la gente
everyone
para
runs
gente
things a
así?
little bit. Everybody runs things a little bit different. I'm at a point right now where we're getting to the 10-year mark, for us it's our beginning year. For a lot of people it's like the 11th, but to me it's like this is our beginning year, and we have a formula that works. So even with me, it's really hard to work with me because, and again, I'm not a religious guy, but I'm a praying guy, and I believe God's given me this vision, and it's been working. It's like a peaceful, everyone involved, hundreds of people just winning from the thousands of people. So I say that first because I'm a very, very strict person. But I also don't expect people to be perfect. But at the same time, with the work, yes, not personally, but when we comes to this mission, we working, and we getting things done. And if you jump on this train, we're going at it. Even if you're sick, even if you're worse, that's kind of the only way to get things done. Because when you and also not hiring friends, hiring people that you don't know at all, working with people that you build a relationship through the business, from the business. So it's built on even though you go out have a drink, but it's built on the base of the business. So that way we know that I am the boss here, I am the owner. If you're the boss and I'm partnering with you, you're the boss. But there's a way that, because for many years, as we can see with the government, many things, committees don't work too well. So I'm always open for new ideas. At this point right now, again, I'm going to be very honest, because I put everything into this festival. With the festival, when it comes to that, I take creative ideas, but not ideas when it comes to changing the business model, because it's working right now. So a lot of people have to be able to deal with me too. You know what I mean? It's like, do you work with me too? Because I'm a little bit not messy, but I got my way of working. Can I work? But when it comes to other people, it's just loyalty too. I put 10 years into this. I don't want people around me that are not going to stick with me and have other. And if you do have other plans, let me know. It's hard. Finding people is the hardest thing. I was just having a conversation with my lady. The hardest thing is finding people that move at your train, that don't have secret agendas, that are really trying to help you, that are really trying to do what the mission is, and that they're gonna listen. They're gonna I'm more of a fan of hiring females than males. Males seem to have they're cool in the beginning, but then they want to right away come and do that. It's normal testosterone. They want to come and run stuff once they learn things, and then they start getting offended a little bit fast. And this is just my experiences when it comes to a lot of businesses. I'm talking specifically about the festival and things like that. With females, they're leaders. They know how to turn down your ideas, but in a different way, but in a productive way, not in like a macho way. It's different. It's like it's different. It's like, I'm trying to help you. It's just for a lot of reasons. So it just depends, what business you're running. But regardless, the hardest thing in having a business is people. Is people.
Well, my take on that, number one, to answer your question, Yessie, is leadership, right? A person who's in a position of leadership has to understand how to motivate each person, right? People are different. Phil Jackson could not coach Michael Jordan and Dennis Rodman the same way. He
Right.
had to have a different approach, right? And what I have learned in my background in any kind of business that I would start, I'm going to have processes.
Yeah,
Processes take feelings and opinions off the table.
exactly.
And I learned that in corporate America, IBM, the military, very process driven. They had a process for leaving your voicemail on the phone. And if it wasn't in alignment with the process, you could get written up.
Mhm.
Everything was a process because there's two main benefits of a process. Number one, it can help you very quickly identify where a problem is if you
Mhm.
have a
Right.
process in place. And then number two, to Yusef's point, plug and play. Hey, you don't work, put you in here.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, again, one thing is with me, I'm always with passion. I'm always with energy. People start feeding into that, and we are gonna win. This is not a.
Yeah.
This is about with me. I'm the
Right.
last one to eat. Always, my team I'm taking care of the team. They take care of me. But it's just again, like he's saying, it's just a lot of personality. So everybody's different. How I treat everybody is different. Some people are
Yeah.
more like, "Hey, how you do?" Because I know they need it. How you doing? You
Right.
good? This, that. Some people I'm like, no, I can see the boss in you. You're a leader. Let's start stepping up a little bit and changing these crybaby ways. Leave that for the other guy. That's his way. He's not doesn't have it yet. You're almost ready. Yeah, yeah. Let's get going with you. Pat in the back. Let's go. And to building people, me is building leaders, man. My number one thing is I don't want workers. I tell people I don't
Oh,
hire
that's
workers.
powerful. Ding,
I,
ding, ding, hit the bell.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a true sign
I
of a
hire
leader right
leaders.
there,
Yeah,
is to build other leaders. That's a
yeah,
Right.
distinguishing mark of a leader, is
yeah,
to help other people become leaders.
yeah.
Man,
No,
I'm
that's the key,
applaud you,
man.
brother.
No, man. Listen, I'm learning from everybody else, but that's what my goal is. Like I'm telling you, when people come to me, I'm like, hey, no, I don't hire workers. I hire leaders, man. I hire bosses. I hire
Yeah,
people that
I love
are
that.
gonna move. I don't want to. You got your own. I don't want to be telling you what to do, man. You're a grown man, or you're a woman. You're
Right.
married. You got kids. I don't want to tell you. Let's get into one mission. Like he said, let's go. Mr. Tim said, let's get the process. We know the process here. We know that it takes hard work. You're gonna get 100 no's, then you should have done 1,000 calls. 1,000
Right.
calls, 100 no's. Cool. It's gonna do the math. Eventually, you'll get like 50 out of 1,000. So it's a math thing. Let's just keep going, because
It's a
especially
numbers game. It
especially
is.
if you believe in what you're doing. Like anything I have anything to do with is I have passion for it. I'm at an age now where I have a good career, and I have my good stuff that I've done. So I pick what I like and I love. Um, and I hope that people do the same thing with their stuff. All the people that have worked for me, even with trucking, I'm like, hey, what's your goal? What's your next goal? You can't drive for me forever. I need you to become a leader by 8 months, because by the year you're gonna want to be a boss. I know you're a man. So let's give me 8 months of your life, and I'll help you own a truck, and then I'll help you get the truck. So here's paperwork. Learn how to fill this out. Here are the contracts. Learn how to fill that out. Because in 8 months, your brain automatically is gonna say, I think I could do this. I seen the numbers on those contracts. Cool. Do your thing. You give me 8 months. You do your learning. You get paid for it, but help me train this next person so then I can do my time with them. And I kind of learned with different industries like that. With the Puerto Rican festival, was a little bit longer because people want to be part of the fest. But there's other jobs that you just like, here, I know you want to learn. Let's learn. So everybody, you just got to see what industry you're in. Some is longevity. Some is, if it's like trucking, people want to be entrepreneurs, and you got to be upfront with it. Like, what's your goal here? Even with the festival, I ask people, what's your goal? What do you want to do? Whenever you're
Right.
director, you want to own this, because I don't want to do this forever. By the time I'm a certain age, I'm trying to just come and check out what you guys are doing now. Then pass
Right.
it on.
Yeah, Yessie, I have a question for you.
Yeah, absolutely. What's up?
So, from what I hear, I've never
Mhm.
been in the entertainment industry.
Mhm.
I've heard comedians say telling jokes is the easy part. It's the business behind it.
Hmm.
Has that been your experience as well?
Yes, to an extent, and no, and simply because being a professional actor, I am very selective on the projects that I say yes to or that I partner or agree to do.
Hmm.
I I study. I look at if I've interacted with individuals before, and if so, how is my interaction? How are they? How are their demeanor? Also, what is the project saying? Like, for example, is it positively going to motivate and impact the community, because that's what I'm about. I'm about to, I like to positively motivate and impact, and especially deliver a message, a product, enlighten people. And so there's just many factors. Now, from a business standpoint, um, it's just knowing how to negotiate, how to, your worth. Also making sure you keep track of all your expenses and things like that, because when taxes come, that's another story regarding business, right? Taxes, just so many different elements. So yes and no to your question. It just really depends on the individual and what they have going on. So yeah.
If you had to put a percentage on it, would you say in your industry as a professional actor, is it 20% acting ability and 80% business, or is it 80% business and it what would that percentage look like? You know what I mean? Is there more effort, would you say, into developing your skill set as an actress, or managing the business side of it?
So because I self-manage myself currently, and I'm in the process of helping to manage and get more talent on
you
my
manage
roster.
other people, right?
Right. Getting more people on board. But nevertheless, it takes more to invest in yourself, because like for me, I've traveled to New York, to LA, to Cali, to Texas, to do different actors workshops. I've traveled to different parts and networking is important. So it's just really investing in yourself, so that people understand that once you invest in yourself, now they want to invest in you because you've invested in yourself. Similar to when you go to school, you get a degree. Okay, now you got your piece of paper. That's investing in yourself. What are you going to do with it? And so being a professional actor is the same thing. It is investing in yourself as a business, because I am the business.
That's
and
right.
Now going from there to execute my talents in different projects. And that's when the negotiation comes in. What they're expecting of you, what is your role, is not just saying yes to everything. And I remind talent, you can't say yes to everything, because everything's not going to be for you. You have to learn how to say no, and it's okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And so I want to know, so it's not like Cat Williams said on the interview.
Well, thankfully, my experience has not been like Cat Williams.
I'm wondering.
But there's a lot of dark secrets coming out in these interviews now, and what's done in the dark will come to the light at some point. Right. And I learned that the hard way. That's why today, and I think Yussef, you kind of spoke about this too. We do the right thing for the right reason, whether someone is looking or not, because we know that at some point, if we don't do the right thing, at some point, we're going to reap the harvest from that as well. And so, that's one of the things that I would say to someone who is looking into entrepreneurship. Make sure that you have some guiding principles. When you look at major organizations, they have guiding principles. And what happens is, when you have these guiding principles, then every decision that you make for the vision, for the business, gets filtered through these principles. And that way you'll never go wrong.
Yeah, don't go. My thing is, people got to stop just going on YouTube and seeing what's trending and businesses like that. A lot of people are losing money with that stuff, just seeing what just people go on YouTube. They see the next hustle with either if it's the stock market, even box truck. Box truck was a thing I seen online. Thank God we made it work and it worked for us. But you know how many people lost money, and there's how many leased trucks are out there with open bills right now that. There's hundreds of thousands of people that owe money for trucks right now. There's people that have lost their homes because box truck was one of the ones that came in, or selling, for example, on Shopify, people getting in all the way without knowing all this stuff. Even the young ladies that just order a lot of products from Alibaba and think that a lot of people, like what I tell them is they think people are going to come to them. That's the problem. There's a lot of people that open up a business and say, okay, here's my business. Where's everybody at? Even if it's online, or where's everyone at? And they forget that it doesn't work like that. You have to build your numbers. So you have to go from 1 client to 2 clients to 10 clients to 7, one at a time. I mean, it's the same thing for anyone that wants to be a music artist or an actor. You have to
Right.
build your fan base from 10. Okay, now I got 20. That's why I tell a lot of these young cats, I'm like, bro, Instagram is in your hand, okay? A lot of people don't know this. Entrepreneurs, listen, you can do this. I showed my son. You go on Instagram and you go on click and you go to, let's say you want to, like yesterday, my son is into clothing. I said, listen, man, go on your search, type in Japan, search. Now you go to places. Now I said, there's 8 million pictures on here. That's 8 million people that posted today, my brother, in Japan. So what you're going to do is you're going to spend the next hour, because I'm going to ground you for no reason. You're grounded for an hour just to do this. No, he's 17. So I'm like, I got to force him now to do things. I'm like, you're going to like as many pictures as you can. And if you like them, you're going to send an emoji with fire. And I'm going to see how many Japanese friends you got by the end of the hour. He's like, all right, click. He ended up getting only 2, but I said, now there's 2 Japanese people that follow you from on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 people you got there now. Let's say if you post your shirt tomorrow, you can do the same thing. The next thing, and by the end of the weekend, I have 10 Japanese friends, brother, and you're gonna be somehow Google and translate and communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And next week, you're gonna do Mexico City, and you're gonna do the same thing. And after that, you're gonna do Japan, and then you're gonna do the
Sounds
same.
like a process to me.
It's a
Right.
damn
That's a
process, Mr.
process.
King. You told him, not me. I didn't tell him anything. I
El
just repeated what you
proceso.
said. But listen,
El
you see
proceso de negocios.
But listen, that's what everybody fails to do. It's that work. It's work.
Right.
So when my kids
Right.
go to when 5:45 I'm up because I got to shave my head. When everyone is asleep, the youngest, the baby goes to sleep by 8 o'clock. The teen goes to sleep at 10. So then I go up at 2 hours and I give the teen some time, force it in there. Then my wife gets from 10 to like 11:30 or whatever she has to do, and from midnight to whenever 1 a.m. whatever. Then you gotta put in time. And then you wake up and you do it. So you gotta have. And your lunch hours, if you got a job, you don't use your lunch hour to eat no more. Your lunch hour is not to do your, they is taking over now. The Netflix, don't even pay for your Netflix. That should not even exist on YouTube. If you want to watch documentaries on the type of business you're doing, YouTube is right there. Netflix is nothing for you. That is what it takes because it's just a numbers game. It's just I figured it took me years to figure this out, guys. I'm trying to shake everybody like, listen, it took me years. I'm just figuring this stuff out. Now it's working.
We appreciate you sharing this. Apreciamos mucho que estás aquí. Te agradezco por estar aquí con nosotros and sharing this information, because es bien importante para la gente, especialmente muchos latinos que tienen el deseo de empezar negocios y no saben, they don't know. But let's touch on the topic of you positively impacting the kids in the community. I've been seeing some of your posts on your Facebook.
No.
So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, it's getting a little dark. I might turn on. But yeah, so I do my first thing is passion with the kids. Everything I do, even the festival, kids don't pay. I focus on their stuff. During the day, I do work with an agency and work with kids in one of the worst areas in Milwaukee, 53206. So I build programs for kids, and we got funding from the government, and we pay for stuff for them. We have financial literacy courses that we do every month. This next week we have it's called a self-care class that we're doing for young ladies. We realized that a lot of them were coming into our seminars with hoodies on and their hair's wrapped, and then we took numbers with their attendance, and I kind of took them aside and I said what's going on, and a lot of them said they didn't feel comfortable. So next week we have a huge event for about 25 females. We're going to give them we bought them a kit of beauty products, even everything in Africa, because these are all African American girls. This is the north side of Milwaukee. Anything they need to learn how to do their own hair in a kit, and I'm bringing in 15 stylists, volunteers are going to show them how to use the tools, so they can learn how to do their own hair at home, so they can be more comfortable with going to school. But that's one. The barber, I have one for the boys that's called the Barbershop Club, and I found all the barbershops in the area where they lived, and I called them all. Or I stopped in there and I said, hey man, I just want you to give me one free haircut a month for a kid. One, that's it. All of them said, man, I'll give you 4 or 5. What do you need? I said, all right, perfect. Found all the kids in those areas, and now they each have a barber shop they're assigned to, and it's called the Barbers Club. They take their attendance once a month. They get a free cut. They get to talk to a barber.
Wow.
He gets to look clean as hell in school with his haircut. And then the barbers it started affecting them because they started calling me like, hey, bro, I don't let people smoke in my shop no more. No more weed. We don't cuss. We're changing our ways. I'm buckling up my pants a little bit tighter.
Win-win.
And
Right.
and he's like, and then they'll post it on Facebook. I can't believe I'm a mentor. I'm a mentor now. They'll post it on Facebook. So it's like building. Yeah, that's my main thing is the youth thing. That's why our center and all that. We're working on the youth center right now. And that's my passion is working with the kids and helping them get through some of that stuff. So we got a million programs. Yeah, it's just but even the Puerto Rican festival, a lot of that stuff funds
That's
for life.
awesome.
Yeah, and we definitely need it, Youssef. You know, we
Hmm.
see we see the destruction in a lot of our future generations, and especially in neighborhoods with people who look like me, right?
Yeah,
And it's unfortunate, but a lot of younger younger people don't get access to that training, right?
yeah,
So they are engaged in listening to music and watching TV shows that do not help them move forward or help
yeah,
them progress or help them mature. And
Right.
so what you're teaching these young people just in that arena with how to dress and prepare themselves. So now we don't really look at this to this point, but I do. And I
yeah,
think you have too. When I look in the mirror, if I don't like what I see, how can I expect somebody else
exactly.
to like what I
Mhm.
see? Right?
Yep.
If I look at myself in the mirror and I look throwed away, hair look crazy, don't I'm looking crazy. How am I gonna feel about how am I gonna behave?
And
Right.
imagine that same scenario of being a 15-year-old girl or a boy in a high school with all Snapchat, phone, Instagram, TikTok, everybody recording so just imagine even that's why a lot of kids don't go to school. We started the program, and to me, I was mind blown because everybody in my office has a degree. I don't have a degree, and then and in other agencies, everyone has a degree, and I don't have a degree. And they were like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "Guys, what the hell? This is common sense. You feel good. We're gonna make you feel good." They're like, "Oh my God, amazing program,
Right.
amazing." I'm like, "What the
It's
hell's going
common
on here?"
sense.
Yeah,
Right.
I was confused. I was like, "What?" They were like, "We can't believe you're coming up with these programs." I'm like, "Okay, hold on. That shows that a lot of people are not showing up to these things and just looking at the kids. Like you just gotta
Yeah.
look at the kids, not just look at them, but like talk to them, and you'll figure it out. And it's a lot of them, man. We have hundreds of kids that are going through
Yeah.
these programs. So, but that's and
Yeah.
we got entrepreneurship classes that are coming up. I have a club called the Check-In. They have to check in with me once a month. They come eat with me because we believe in breaking bread together. It unites people. I
Yeah.
got I got boys that are transgender that their parents are like, he comes in my house and he's talking like a man, but then we know something's going on, and they come in my events and they'll be
Mhm.
like, yeah, what's going on? By the time they leave, they're like, yeah, they're talking the way they normally talk. And
Mhm.
we're
Right.
we're like, whatever your issue is, we're gonna meet you right there, find you whatever, if it's support, if it's confused, whatever you're going is, and it's been successful, man. And everything's been just common sense, just
Yeah,
showing up. That's it,
that's
man.
awesome, man. And I'm gonna definitely reach out to you. I'd like to support what you're doing out there, and I'll find
Yeah,
some
for sure.
ways. We'll have some conversations and see how we can collaborate, right?
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
I do the same thing. My focus is on the future generations and helping kids, and I'll tell you why. The reason I do that is because had I been exposed to some different kind of environments, remember environments matter, some
Yeah,
different information, then I could have possibly made some different decisions and avoided a lot of pain and loss. So
yeah,
now today, if I can take this experience, wisdom that I knowledge that I have, and share it with someone to help them avoid what I've gone through, then it makes everything that I've gone through worth it.
100%.
Because do you know what
Hmm.
do you know
Hmm.
what do you know what the most hurtful human emotion is that a human being can experience?
I would say sadness.
Sadness? What do you say, Yusef?
I would say betrayal, or loneliness.
Okay. Here's what I've discovered. It's regret.
Yeah,
Ah, okay.
Regret.
That makes
Let me tell you,
sense.
because you can't go back and change it.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
you gotta
Regret
live with
is
it.
a mother jumper. So it helps me, deal with some of the emotions because, man, I haven't always been the guy that you see now.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
I
hey, listen,
live.
me neither. Hey, I'm the same way, man. But that's how I know that everything's possible. I'm like, when people
Yeah,
come to me with the stuff that I do, I'm like, man, I don't want to hear it, bro. Like, I do want to hear it, but I want to
Mhm.
hear about how we can fix this. What is it?
yeah.
Let's come up with a plan,
There you
and
go.
then we'll sit down, we'll do it, but we got to come up with a plan too, because guess what, man? Tomorrow's coming.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it or not, tomorrow's coming. Unless, are you going to go home and commit suicide? And I say this to people because I honestly mean it. I'm like, is that what you're going to do? And again, and again, I've took a lot of, and I asked directly because some people are going to tell you, yeah, if it's true. And most people are like, no, okay, so tomorrow's coming, man. We got to move forward. And it comes down to business. It comes down personally. It comes down, if you want to come, we're in America, Mr. Tim, you know that. Things work different. Or you can move to another island where you don't have to have anything. But this is America here. You're going to have a rent. You have a rent to pay or a mortgage to pay, whatever you decide. You have to pay for your food. Whatever you decide, this is free America, but it's not free. So you either got to buckle up and help everyone that's coming after you and yourself, or it's cool if you're not that guy, but at least you got to maintain your family or maintain yourself. So regardless, we have to move. We have to move forward. You know, even if you're on state help, the state help requires you to do job search, requires you to do programs. It requires welfare's not around anymore. It's the workforce, whatever W-2 they call it now. It's a whole different thing. So it's like, what do you want to? A lot of people spend time. And again, this is just my personal opinion. A lot of people spend too much time thinking on the past and all these things. Oh, my mom, move forward. If you start really thinking about moving forward, you'll be able to make it through a business. If you can build that strength where you can say, or even forgiving, it's all together. Forgiving, moving forward, you know, it's all in one thing together. You got to be able to move. So that it's one of the powers of an entrepreneur. They've been able to deal with that, so they can deal with people thinking you're crazy, and you could deal with losing. Like Mr. Tim said, that huge loss he had, but look, he came back like 30 times harder. He's doing it, and now he's telling. It's just it's a lot that comes out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's,
you know, I'm going to send you one of the things I'm going to talk to you about. I'm going to send you. I promote these 12 principles to inner peace for common unity, for happy, healthier, and safer communities in which to live in. And these 12 principles, they are programmed. They are processed: honesty, hope, faith, courage, integrity,
please share those with
willingness,
me.
humility, discipline, forgiveness, acceptance, awareness, and gratitude. These 12 principles are valid in the boardroom, the locker room, the living room, the classroom, even the bedroom for married people. You know, and so you know, my goal has been, and for some time, and even moving forward now, is to get these principles ingrained in mainstream, right? Because we all are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
So if we develop healthy habits, see, we don't dictate our success. We decide our habits, and our habits dictate our success.
Yeah.
Right.
Bad habits, no success.
Victim habits, no success.
That's right.
Hey, listen, it's if people really want to talk, honestly, if you want to talk business, then that's a thing that people run around things, but it's honestly, it's if you want to play, that's not for you, because you're gonna take a boat whooping. It's just what it is. No matter where you get into, either if it's gonna be in college where you learn your stuff, or you long test, or if it's gonna be like me and Mr. Tim learning the hard way, but people really and teaching us stuff. So you pick which one you want to do. But like I tell my son, hard work pays off. This season, he had a rough season, right? Had a rough basketball season. I think I'm the best dad in the world. I love my son. My son will probably tell you I don't miss a thing. But I told him this year, I said, "What happened, man? You sat on the bench a lot." Right? Yeah, I did. Why? Man, these are. I just want one simple reason why. I don't want to hear. I just want to hear why. I didn't work hard, Dad. I didn't train in the summer. Okay, there you go. Now we're talking. You did what? You didn't train in the summer. All right, so you did that benching. That was you do nothing. You get nothing. That's how it works. You go this summer and you put 100,000 hours, and you're gonna do it. Because you just you're an athlete, you're my family. We have a gift. Like Mr. Tim said, you got to have gifts. Some people are athletic, some people are not. Some people, my brother has amazing memory. He's a doctor. I don't remember anything. So everybody's got and my son, that's one of the people he's older now. So you work. And if you want to do a business, that's the only way, unless you got lucky and somebody buys your business and gives you 100, that's a lucky thing. Or if you got the right, but I'm sure you put some work in. But if not, even Mr. Tim, you know that. It is hard work. So you have to be able.
Doesn't come first without doing the hard work first.
You have to overcome. You have to overcome personal stuff. You have to be able to, even if you're in a relationship, be able to go to your wife and talk to her, not just let it sit in you and boil. That's going to affect you. No, babe, this is what's talking. Let's talk about it right now, please. I gotta get my mind cleared up. If whatever your regret is, that you can fix it. And whatever regret you can't fix, you let it go and you just move forward.
That's what vision gives us. It gives us
Mhm.
vision, discipline. You're talking about discipline, Yussef, and
Yeah.
discipline is a product of vision.
That's exactly it, Mr. Tim. Yep.
Yeah. Discipline, key ingredient to success.
Absolutely. So this topic is getting juicy. So I have a feeling, because we're about to wrap up in just a few minutes, that we should invite Yussef again for a part 2 of the
Absolutely.
Yeah, anytime. I
entrepreneurship
appreciate it. I
tips to
really
sales.
appreciate the conversation too.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is
absolutely.
deep. This is deep. And shout out to everybody, all the viewers in and out. Thank you. Shout out to Raw One from Sparking Conversation for those great comments. James Rattle. We got Karen
Yeah.
Kinslow. So
Thank
we have
y'all.
a lot of great, yes. Thank you all for tuning in. You all have been amazing. And shout out to Blaze DePronio. Shout out. Yes. Thank you so much. Now we will have a part 2. So I'm going to coordinate. Tim and I are going to coordinate after the show with Yussef to see when we can bring him on, because this is a lot of
Yeah,
juicy
anytime.
stuff.
Oh,
Tenemos
yeah.
muchos
Oh, yeah.
juguitos aquí que tienen que aprender
Yeah, I
aquí, mi
appreciate
gente.
you, Justin. Yeah, I appreciate you too, Mr. Tim.
All right,
And all
my
your
friend.
experience and all. It's good to have a conversation with. It's hard to understand. Some people don't understand, the hustle and the struggle, and just giving that information out so we can make it a little bit easier for other people.
And this was
Absolutely.
original design that we would encourage one another. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right.
So, gentlemen, before we wrap up, Yussef, tell the viewers, how can they find you if they want to communicate with you, interact with you, etc.? How can they find you? Your social media handle, email, etc.
You can find me at BHM Yussef at Instagram, or you can find me at Yussef Morales on Facebook.
Awesome. Tim, remind everybody how they can find you.
It's simple. Talkmantalk.com. You can Google me. Talkman Talk, one word, Google me. Come on.
Yeah. I gotta get my own website, Mr. Tim.
Yeah. Hey, look, you're doing the right thing, man. You're doing a great work in the earth, man. I'm so honored, right, to be able to have this conversation with you, and such a a polished young man and a young seasoned man. You have no idea what's ahead of you.
No,
you can't even see it.
Hey, I appreciate.
Look, I gotta tell you this. I gotta tell you this. I just heard this the other day.
Tim, you're funny.
So there was this guy. He took his daughter on a cruise.
Yeah.
And so they were on the cruise ship, and she couldn't see over the banner, right? And so she said, "Daddy, I can't see." And so he picked her up, and he put her on his shoulder. And so now she can see everything. And she said, "Daddy, my eyes can see further than I can look." Well, that's where you at, Yussef.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. Hey, listen, no.
Well, your eyes can see further than you can look.
Listen,
man.
Water. I appreciate that, Mr. Tim, because I'm a respecter of the OGs. I'm like one of those dudes that was born old school. So I be trying to take and listen and trying to get, again, I'm not a religious, but take messages from God, from anybody, especially when you're like, you got to get going. And I'm a learner, man. As you can see my back, Dame, I got a whole bunch of, man, but I'm a learner, man. I appreciate guys like you that talk about stuff and give us the platform too to just share our story and some of the stuff we go through. Sometimes you just want to just share the stuff. So I appreciate that, man. Thank you guys for having the platform.
Absolutely.
Yes,
thank you again for tuning in, you all. Reach us at hoyendiatv@gmail.com if you have any questions, you have a topic. For those who want to be a guest, email us. We'll get you on here. Also, you can find me, Yessie Rodriguez. You can just Google Yessie Rodriguez, and you can find me on my social media handles and where I'm at. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you both. Have a great night. Dios los bendiga.
Peace.